Aside from all the drama stuff, I've put out a lot of polls recently on potential matchups and future matchups that are going to happen. So let's do a video reviewing those and reading your comments. Starting off here, Ricard Bornman versus Schoolboy. This is one of the matches that is potentially going to happen. Don't know if it's going to happen at the Shaw Classic or when. Nothing really has been confirmed yet as far as the next East versus West event, but these are matchups that have definitely been talked about here, especially after Ricard won against Wallace Dilly. That was a really good match. So we got Schoolboy as the favorite, 59%. Somewhat close, but in the comments, number one comment, this guy says, Bornman destroys Schoolboy. There's levels. If I could pick two matches to watch currently, it would be Schoolboy versus Bornman and Devon versus Vitaly. Those are really good matches. Because they're both young, both similar age, trying to rise in the sport. This is a really good matchup there for sure. So let's go to the next one, and that would be Prudnik versus Matt Yushenko at 115 kilograms. Matt Yushenko looks like the heavy favorite in the polls from what people are thinking, 71% to 29%. This person says Prudnik on the right, Devon on the left. I'm assuming Ivan's left is better. We saw how he did against Alijan on the left. He gave Alijan a really, really tough fight. Somebody said if Prudnik is in the shape he was against Devon, it won't be too hard for him to win. We'll see. This is one of the matchups that Engin proposed for that Azerbaijan event. I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not, but that would be definitely an exciting matchup. Let's go to the next one here. We got Morozov versus Devon Larratt on the right arm. We know Morozov's left is injured, but Devon has been looking for an opponent for the Shaw Classic. Vitaly is probably not going to be there, so Devon is the heavy favorite here. Somebody said, I will only bet against Devon if it's Levan. That's what most people think, yeah. Levan is pretty much the only one who would be a favorite against Devon in any match. Butterwrist will lose hand and turn into Jerry Cataret 0.5. Morozov did lose his hand, if you guys remember, against Svetkov. I think Morozov had a stomach bug before that match, so he wasn't in his best shape. But, yeah, it's going to be hard to not lose your hand and wrist against a guy like Devon Larratt. That's usually the only option for most guys, unless you're Levan, you know. This person says Devon is closer to Levan than Morozov is to Devon. This person said you might be joking now. Right arm, Devon would take Morozov's soul and bring him some critical moral damage if they fight on right hands. I think that is likely that Devon would win, in my opinion, but we saw what Morozov just did to Krdecha, and he made that look pretty easy. I wouldn't 100% count out Morozov whatsoever, to be honest, especially a sauced up Morozov coming in a good shape. Keep in mind his left is injured, so he's going to be putting all his energy into the training on the right arm. But here we got Levan versus Devon Larratt. If that were to happen, Devon basically kind of called out Levan to see if he wants to come to the Shaw Classic to have the match. I think it's unlikely, but if anything, this might favor Devon in a spontaneous situation like that, not having a certain date a long time ahead of time. Please, Devon, if you read this, don't do it for the paycheck. Levan is still way too strong for everyone. The result will be all for Levan and nothing for you. Still a fan. Too early to challenge him again. Maybe. Anyone that voted for Devon in this poll is delusional and probably believes that dogs can fly. Okay. Devon, delusional fanboys, LMAO. Why do people forget who Levan is a week after he competed? I don't think they're forgetting. 78 to 22% is pretty overwhelming for Levan. And we saw Devon stopped him the last time they faced. So, I mean, I think Devon's getting closer each time. He's faced Levan twice now, and I'm sure he's going to face him a third time. It's just a matter of when. This person said nobody wants to see this match again for F's sake. So definitely some strong opinions on that match. Got a couple more polls that I put up here. Ibrahim Sagov versus Dave Chafee. Dave Chafee is cutting down to 115 kilograms. That's going to be his new weight class. That's what everyone's saying. So this would be for the world title. We got Sagov as the favorite, 58 to 42%. Now, these are two matches from the Shaw Classic, which will be in about, 6 weeks from now, 6 or 7 weeks from now in Colorado. Brian Shaw versus Brandon Allen. If you guys don't remember, Brandon Allen beat Larry Wheels in a super match. Somebody said, who is Brandon Allen? I said, Watch that match against Larry Wheels. He's got a king's move. We'll see if Brian Shaw is patient enough and intelligent enough on the table to know how to deal with the king's move, or is he just going to have way too much power to where Brandon can't get in the king's move? That's the question. We'll see. But Eddie Hall versus Robert Oberst. Overwhelming favorite for Eddie Hall here, 81% to 19%. But if you look at the comments, somebody said, I have been helping train Robert along with Alan Fisher in Idaho. That's where they're at. Eddie has a weak hand from watching him pull, and Robert's hand is so big, Eddie is going to struggle. So I think people, just because they know the name Eddie Hall, maybe they're underestimating Robert Oberst. This isn't strongman, so we know Eddie Hall has been the world's strongest man. Robert Oberst has been a successful strongman as well, but I think Eddie Hall has a bigger name. But this is arm wrestling. This is not strongman, so the hand is super important. So if that is true that Oberst is training well and he's in a good shape and he has a really strong hand, then he could definitely have a chance against Eddie Hall. So those are some interesting matchups. What do you guys think about those polls there? And do you agree or not? Also hit subscribe. We're getting real close to 10K, as I mentioned in my last video. Just going to make a push for that. We're almost there, guys. Help me out with that.